Clara Schumann, the female icon of the Romantic music era. Welcome to the second part. My name is Clemens, I'm a composer and pianist, and I love music and the stories behind it. Today we're diving back in. So, the female icon of Romantic music had a turbulent childhood, and there is still much more to come. In part 1, we left off when Clara Schumann, at just 13 years old, after touring Paris with her not-so-relaxed father, Friedrich Wieck, started composing her first piano concerto. The premiere took place in 1835 with 16-year-old Clara as the soloist, performing with the orchestra, conducted by none other than Felix Mendelssohn Bartholdy. A huge success. Clara's reputation in the public eye grows and she becomes increasingly well known. She's a trendsetter. At a young age, she's one of the first pianists to perform from memory without any sheet music. This had a significant impact on how concerts are performed and how the connection with the audience is made, without a music stand creating a barrier between the two. Let's recall, at the age of 9, Clara met a student who wanted to study with her father, an incredibly gifted composer. His name, Robert Schumann. Over time, surprise, a romantic relationship develops between Clara and Robert, contrary to her father's wishes. Robert is seen as a womanizer and her father fears that Clara, as a musician, will remain overshadowed by Robert. Both want to marry, but her father forbids it. This leads to a major conflict. At one point, the father even threatens to shoot Robert Schumann if he continues to pursue Clara. The situation escalates into a court case. Daughter versus father, father versus daughter. The father has no chance. Clara prevails. She marries Robert, changing her name from Clara Wieck to Clara Schumann, and her relationship with her father is left in ruins. As in part 1, let's take a quick stroll through the city again, since we are already in Leipzig, and breathe in the air once more, where Clara Schumann lived.
It's still winter, and we are in the north of Leipzig, in front of the Memorial Church, where Clara Wieck married Robert Schumann after her long legal battle against her father. Side fact, the father didn't attend the wedding. These days people typically end up in court at the end of a marriage. Back then it started with one. Interesting. But even this shows how strong-willed and determined Clara Schumann was. Let's go a bit further east. This beautiful townhouse, this is where the Schumanns moved after their wedding. Here they dedicated themselves to music, and this house quickly became a hub for the music scene of the time. Hector Berlioz, Franz Liszt and Felix Mendelssohn Bartholdy were frequent visitors here. Today it's a museum, so if you're ever in Leipzig and you are a Schumann aficionado, make sure to pop by.
Clara and Robert move in together. We pass their beautiful house and they collaborate on music, forming a true musical partnership. A time when they dedicated pieces to each other. They composed, among other works, the beautiful cycle Liebesfrühling, amazing music. But back to the father, Friedrich Wieck. It turns out his concerns were not entirely unfounded. Clara has to put her concert career on hold. Robert Schumann wrote to her, "The first year of our marriage, you shall forget your role as a musician." He also gives her a cookbook with the inscription, "For my housewife," including recipes for his favorite dishes. From today's perspective, this is of course questionable. Bad idea. Nevertheless, she must have been an excellent cook alongside being a pianist and composer. I've tried a few of the recipes myself. They're delicious. I can recommend the fresh salmon with anchovy broth and what I haven't cooked, the turtle soup. I'm not kidding. It's all in the book. Feel free. What a challenging time it was. The man who described her first piano concerto as a spring morning in music. She has little time to practice, is expected to be a housewife, and must also contribute musically. She gives birth to 8 children, is nearly continuously pregnant, and juggles the life of an artist while raising her children. At the same time, she faces criticism. It was often said that her husband was the true composer behind her works. What a situation, what an incredible challenge. But Clara doesn't give up. She continues to compose and perform, eventually contributing a significant, if not the largest portion of the household income. Later, she was the main breadwinner for the family. She performs concerts across Europe and continues to compose. Her works include pieces for piano, setting of song texts, and chamber music compositions like the trio in G minor. A deeply emotional work, written during a challenging episode of her life. In my opinion, you can hear some darker shades in this trio, beautifully brought out and interpreted by Kalandarishvili, McRae, and Ota. Let's have a listen. Such an amazing interpretation. You can find the links to the music below the video. If you have any favorite music by Clara Schumann, any favorite interpretations or thoughts regarding this video, let's just share it in the comments. Clara and Robert moved from Leipzig to Dresden and later to Düsseldorf. They formed friendships with figures like Fanny Mendelssohn and Johannes Brahms, who will admire Clara throughout his life, apparently not just musically. Their relationship is long and significant. It's certainly a topic worth exploring in its own right. In 1854, her husband Robert Schumann falls ill, experiencing delusions and hallucinations culminating in a suicide attempt. The situation becomes increasingly dire. Robert Schumann dies in 1856. Shortly before Robert's death, Clara writes one of her final compositions, a romance in A minor, full of pure transcendental beauty, and then stops composing. So let me play a few bars for you. And this chord, especially this chord, is one of my favorite moments in the whole piece. In a follow-up video, we will dive into some of these jam-like moments and we will analyze them in more detail on the piano. So, see you there. Clara Schumann turns away from composing at the age of 36. She says, "I once believed that I possessed creative talent, but I have given up this idea. A woman must not desire to compose. There has never yet been one able to do it. Should I expect to be the one?" Clara continues to perform concerts from England to Russia. She sets new standards and plays a crucial role in establishing works by Robert Schumann. Think of the Kinderscene, Mendelssohn, Brahms, Beethoven and Chopin in the piano repertoire. She became one of the most outstanding artists of her time, played over 1,000 concerts and gave her last concert at the age of 71 after a 60-year career as a performer. Clara Schumann died in 1896 and after her death, interest in her compositions waned. Fortunately, she was rediscovered as a composer since the 1960s. So what does the biography, which has been so often portrayed in films, tell us? What is still relevant today? What do you think of Clara Schumann, her music, her life? And which composer should we discuss next? Please subscribe to the channel, it will help a lot. What else to say? Let's listen to more Clara Schumann. See you soon and stay curious.